What if the people without electricity were actually warmer than you this winter? It's not a crazy theory. Winters are getting stranger, less snow, more ice, and unpredictable thaws. While we rely on technology that can fail, Amish communities are thriving using simple, time-tested methods. I've uncovered 7 forgotten low-tech items, each costing under $20, that they use to stay warm and safe. These aren't just quaint traditions, they are powerful survival tools. By the end of this video, you'll see why their resilience beats our modern convenience every time. Let's dive into the secrets that could keep your family safe when the power goes out. 1. The golden wall. Nature's forgotten insulation. Imagine your home wrapped in a thick golden blanket, not one woven from synthetic fibers, but harvested from the earth itself. This is the reality for many Amish families who turn to a simple, age-old solution for winter insulation: hay bales. In an era of smart homes and high-tech materials, they embrace the humble hay bale, stacking it against the exterior walls of their houses. This isn't a nostalgic throwback. It's a practical, powerful strategy against the increasingly unpredictable cold. With no need for drills, specialized contractors, or complex installation guides, they create a formidable barrier against winter's bite using little more than dried grass, rope, and generations of accumulated wisdom. While modern homeowners invest in fiberglass or spray foam insulation, the Amish source their protection directly from the barn at a fraction of the cost. Consider the economics. A single bale of hay costs a few dollars, an amount easily spent on a morning coffee. Comparatively, outfitting a home with conventional insulation can run into thousands of dollars. The true value, however, goes beyond the initial price tag. Hay insulation operates entirely off-grid. When a fierce ice storm downs power lines and renders electric heating systems useless, a wall of hay remains steadfast. It doesn't rely on a stable electrical current or a functioning thermostat. Its effectiveness is rooted in physics, not technology. The dense structure of a hay bale traps countless pockets of air, creating a natural thermal break that slows the transfer of heat from inside the home to the frigid outdoors. Studies have even shown that straw bale construction can offer superior insulating properties, or R values, compared to some conventional materials. It is a quiet, reliable guardian against the cold. There's a profound philosophy embedded in this practice. An Amish farmer in Lancaster County was once quoted as saying, "We don't pay for heat, we pay for work, and work doesn't break." This statement captures the essence of a self-sufficient mindset. The act of stacking the bales each autumn, particularly against the north-facing wall that bears the brunt of winter winds, is a ritual. It's a physical investment in the family's well-being, a hands-on process that connects them directly to their comfort and survival. While a neighbor might spend a small fortune on new triple-paned windows only to shiver through a blackout, the family with hay bale walls sleeps soundly. This method isn't without its considerations. Proper moisture control is key to prevent mold, but when done correctly, it is an incredibly resilient solution. It's a testament to the idea that the most effective technologies are not always the newest or the most complex. In the face of chaotic weather patterns, the simple, unchanging nature of a hay bale offers a security that no smart device can guarantee. 2. The radiant circle. Harnessing the power of flame. In the modern mind, a candle is for ambiance, a romantic dinner, or a brief power outage. For Amish communities, it's a foundational component of their winter heating strategy. They have perfected the art of transforming the small flickering flame into a reliable source of radiant warmth. It's not about lighting a single candle on a coffee table. Instead, picture a carefully arranged cluster of beeswax candles, sometimes as many as 10, placed within a contained area on a non-flammable surface like ceramic tiles or a bed of bricks. This simple setup, often called a candle lantern heater, becomes a miniature furnace, generating a surprising amount of heat. A single beeswax candle can produce around 80 BTUs, British thermal units of heat per hour. When multiplied by 8 or 10 candles, the collective output is enough to significantly raise the ambient temperature of a standard room, making the space comfortable without a single watt of electricity. The choice of candle is deliberate. Amish families favor beeswax over the more common paraffin wax for several compelling reasons. Beeswax burns cleaner, releasing fewer particulates into the air. It also burns longer and at a slightly higher temperature, maximizing its efficiency as a heat source. A well-made beeswax candle can burn for over 12 hours, providing steady warmth through the longest winter nights. This contrasts sharply with our dependence on fragile, centralized systems. When the grid fails, a smart thermostat becomes a useless piece of plastic on the wall. An electric space heater is inert. The Amish, however, are not left in the cold. Their source of warmth is decentralized, affordable, and readily available. They understand that true preparedness isn't about having the most advanced gadget. It's about having a reliable, low-tech alternative that cannot fail. The effectiveness of this method has even captured attention beyond these communities. A viral video once showed a man in Texas warming his room by several degrees using just a few candles under a clay pot, a modern adaptation of the same principle. He was stunned by the results, realizing his expensive electric heater was no match for the simple elegance of a candle's radiant energy. This practice is more than a survival hack. It's a display of profound energy literacy. Amish households often place their candle arrangements strategically, using reflective materials behind them to direct heat into the room, or placing them on masonry surfaces that absorb and slowly radiate the warmth long after the flames are extinguished. While the rest of the world worries about rising utility bills and the stability of the power grid, these communities are calmly lighting another candle, secure in their ability to generate their own warmth. It's a powerful lesson in resilience, proving that sometimes the most potent solutions are the ones that have been quietly working for centuries. 3. The undying warmth. Woven wool and ancient wisdom. Before the invention of synthetic thermal fabrics and battery-operated heated insoles, there was wool. And in the homes of the Amish, there still is. They haven't abandoned this natural fiber for modern alternatives. They have perfected its use, particularly in the creation of hand-knit wool socks that defy the harshest winter conditions. These are not the thin, stylish socks you find in department stores. They are thick, dense, and unapologetically functional. The women, often rising before the sun, engage in the methodical and timeless craft of knitting, using pure, undyed wool. The result is a garment of extraordinary warmth, sometimes woven with so many layers, up to 27 according to one researcher, that they can't be worn with conventional shoes. This thickness is not just for show, it is the secret to their effectiveness. The complex, crimped structure of wool fibers creates millions of tiny air pockets. These pockets trap body heat, forming an insulating barrier that is far more effective than the compressed, sleek design of many modern socks. Furthermore, wool has a unique, almost magical ability to manage moisture. It can absorb up to 30% of its weight in water vapor without feeling damp to the touch. This is crucial for staying warm. When feet sweat in synthetic socks, that moisture cools and eventually freezes, leading to dangerously cold extremities. Wool wicks the moisture away from the skin, allowing it to evaporate and keeping the foot dry and warm. As one Amish grandmother explained, "Your socks let your feet sweat, mine let them breathe." This reliance on wool is a rejection of the planned obsolescence built into modern apparel. A pair of high-tech heated socks might cost a small fortune and offer impressive warmth, but their lifespan is tied to a fragile battery and delicate electronic components. They will eventually fail. A pair of hand-knit wool socks, however, is an heirloom. They are mended when they wear thin and can be passed down through generations. An Amish man once received a pair of smart socks as a gift and simply set them aside, offering his own handmade pair in return with the words, "These won't break." This isn't arrogance, it is a statement of fact rooted in a deep understanding of materials. The warmth from wool is self-sustaining, requiring no apps, no charging cables, and no corporate support. While a modern hiker might find their comfort contingent on a working power bank, an Amish farmer's warmth is generated by his own body and preserved by the timeless technology of sheep's wool. This simple garment is a symbol of true independence, a quiet, powerful reminder that nature's solutions are often the most enduring. 4. The ice battery. Storing sunlight in water. When you hear energy storage, your mind likely jumps to expensive lithium-ion batteries, solar panels, and complex off-grid systems. For the Amish, energy storage is far simpler and profoundly effective. They use water jugs. In communities across the Midwest, a common winter practice involves filling several large plastic jugs with water and setting them outside as evening temperatures plummet. By morning, these jugs are solid blocks of ice, frozen thermal batteries. These are then brought inside and strategically placed in areas that receive direct sunlight, often near a south-facing window. As the sun's rays stream in, the ice begins its slow, deliberate process of melting. This phase change from solid to liquid requires a significant amount of energy, which the ice absorbs from the sun and the surrounding air. As it melts, it releases this stored thermal energy back into the room as gentle, consistent warmth. This principle, known as thermal mass, is a brilliant and passive form of heating. It doesn't need wires, an electrical grid, or a single line of code. A recent university study confirmed that this method can raise the temperature of a room by several degrees over many hours, all without burning any fuel. An Amish family might have a dozen of these ice batteries working in rotation. As some melt and release heat during the day, others are outside, freezing and preparing for the next cycle. This cycle of freezing and thawing creates a continuous, low-level heat source that stabilizes the home's internal temperature. While a modern furnace cycles on and off, causing temperature swings and consuming vast amounts of energy. The ice batteries provide a steady, silent warmth that lasts for hours. They effectively save the sunlight from the day to be used long after the sun has set. This method embodies a philosophy of working with nature rather than against it. An Amish man from Berks County described it not as a chore, but as a partnership with time and the elements. He lines the jugs along his wall, and the slow release of heat keeps his room from becoming frigid during the coldest parts of the night. This system is impervious to the failures that plague modern technology. A power surge can't disable a jug of ice, a grid failure won't stop the process of melting. While others face soaring utility costs and anxiety over the reliability of their heating systems, the Amish find security in a simple plastic container and the fundamental laws of physics. It's a powerful demonstration that the most resilient solutions are often the most basic. The energy we need is all around us. We just need to remember how to capture and store it. 5. The stone heart, radiating heat long after the fire is gone. A modern wood stove is often seen as a significant investment, a stylish centerpiece with a glass door for viewing the flames. The Amish, however, prioritize function over form, using simple, heavy cast iron stoves that have remained largely unchanged for generations. The real genius, though, is not the stove itself but what is placed behind it, a dense, carefully stacked wall of smooth river rocks. This isn't for aesthetics, it is a highly effective thermal mass system. As the wood stove burns hot, the surrounding stones act like sponges, absorbing a tremendous amount of radiant heat. They quietly collect the energy that would otherwise dissipate into the air and be lost. The fire can burn for just a few hours in the evening, but the work of the stones has only just begun. Long after the last embers have died down and the stove itself begins to cool, the rock wall starts its slow, steady release of stored warmth. This stone cache radiates heat back into the living space for an incredibly long duration, sometimes for more than 14 hours. A family can go to bed with a dying fire and wake up in a home that is still comfortably warm, all thanks to the stone heart of their heating system. This passive radiation maintains a stable temperature, avoiding the drastic drops that occur when a conventional heater shuts off. An Amish elder, Eli, poetically explained his process. "I don't burn wood to stay warm. I burn it to teach my stones how to warm me." He has been collecting and adding to his rock wall since childhood, creating a mosaic of stones that have learned the rhythm of fire and cold. This practice showcases a deep understanding of heat transfer and energy conservation. It bypasses the need for complex thermostats, fans, or any electrical components. The system is self-regulating. The hotter the fire, the more energy the stones absorb. The colder the room, the more readily they release it. This approach stands in stark contrast to modern heating solutions that are entirely dependent on an external power source and are vulnerable to mechanical failure. When a winter storm knocks out the power, a high-efficiency furnace becomes a silent metal box. The family relying on the stone heart, however, remains warm and secure. They have created a system that is not just efficient, but profoundly resilient. It's a quiet partnership between fire, stone, and time, a testament to the wisdom of storing energy in the very earth itself. 6. The human radiator, community as central heating. In our hyper-individualized world, we think of warmth as a commodity to be purchased. We control it with a thermostat, produce it with a space heater, and pay for it through a utility bill. When the cold truly sets in, and our systems fail, our first instinct is often to look for a technological fix. The Amish, however, turn to a resource far more powerful: each other. In the depths of winter, when a home loses its heat, the community doesn't just offer sympathy, it provides a physical presence. They have a practice that could be described as community warm-up shifts. Neighbors will arrive at a cold house and simply sit, becoming human radiators. This is not a social call. Often, very little is said. A neighbor might come for a 2-hour shift, sit quietly in a rocking chair wrapped in a quilt, and let their own body heat contribute to the ambient temperature of the room. When their time is up, another person arrives to take their place. This rotation continues, sometimes for days, until power is restored or the immediate crisis has passed. There is no formal schedule, no payment, and no app to coordinate it. It is an organic, compassionate response to a shared vulnerability. A single person's body heat may seem insignificant, but the cumulative effect of several people over many hours can make a life-or-death difference, preventing pipes from freezing and keeping the inhabitants from succumbing to hypothermia. Last winter, a woman in Holmes County shared a story of a 36-hour power outage during which her husband was ill. 5 of her neighbors cycled through her home, ensuring someone was always there. They brought bread, extra blankets, and most importantly, their steady, quiet presence. They didn't call it charity, they called it keeping each other alive. This practice reveals a profound truth that modern society has largely forgotten. A community is its own alert system. No smart home device can replicate the empathy of a neighbor checking in. No algorithm can dispatch the warmth of a human soul when it is needed most. The Amish may lack Wi-Fi, but their social connection is stronger than any network. In a world where people can live for years without knowing their neighbors, this practice is a powerful reminder that our greatest source of resilience is not in our technology, but in our bonds with one another. 7. The winter engine. Why shoveling is not a chore. The modern solution to a snow-covered driveway is a machine. We invest hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in a snowblower to save time and avoid labor. The Amish, however, see the snow not as an obstacle to be blasted away, but as an opportunity for movement. They don't own snowblowers. And this isn't due to a stubborn rejection of technology. It's because they understand a fundamental truth. The work of clearing snow is what keeps you warm. Armed with a simple wooden shovel, they engage in the steady, rhythmic labor of moving snow. It's not a frantic race against the storm, but a deliberate physical act, a winter workout that generates intense internal heat. This perspective is backed by science. Public health studies have shown that manual snow shoveling provides a significant cardiovascular workout. The physical exertion elevates the heart rate, improves circulation, and pumps warm blood to the extremities. One Amish man put it simply, "I don't shovel to clear the path, I shovel to keep my heart beating." While the person using a snowblower stands relatively still in the frigid air, the person with a shovel becomes their own furnace. The act of pushing, lifting, and throwing snow is a powerful thermogenic process. It's a form of cardio that not only clears a path but also fortifies the body against the cold and reduces the risk of winter-related health issues. The warmth it generates is not artificial or external. It rises from within. Moreover, this reliance on human power is inherently more resilient. A snowblower is a complex machine that can fail. Its engine might refuse to start in extreme cold. Its auger can jam on ice, and it requires fuel or electricity. A shovel, on the other hand, is a simple tool. It does not break down in a blizzard, it requires no fuel, no charging, and no costly repairs. When a heavy storm is accompanied by a power outage, a common scenario, the person with the expensive snowblower is stuck. The Amish, however, are already at work, clearing paths not just for themselves but for their neighbors and the horses that pull their buggies. They don't wait for a machine to do the work. They become the machine. They understand that convenience is not the same as security. The movement required to survive the winter is also what makes them stronger, warmer, and more alive. Bonus point 8. The quilt fort and interior migration. In a modern home, every room is expected to be habitable year-round, kept at a consistent temperature by a central heating system. When that system fails, the entire house becomes a cold trap. The Amish, however, view their homes not as a single, uniformly heated space, but as a collection of zones. During the harshest parts of winter, they practice a form of interior migration, abandoning peripheral, hard-to-heat areas and consolidating their lives into a smaller, more defensible core. This core is often the kitchen or main living area, where the primary heat source, like a wood stove, is located. But they take it a step further by creating what can only be described as a large-scale quilt fort. This isn't a child's playroom creation. It's a serious and highly effective survival strategy. Using ropes or temporary frames, they hang heavy handmade quilts from the ceiling, creating a room within a room. These quilts serve as thick, insulated curtains, drastically reducing the volume of air that needs to be heated. Instead of trying to warm a large, high-ceilinged room, they only need to warm the small, enclosed space where the family gathers, eats, and sleeps. The quilts, often filled with dense wool batting, act as formidable barriers, trapping the radiant heat from the stove, lanterns, and even their own body heat. The air inside this quilted space can be 10 to 20 degrees warmer than the air just a few feet away. This strategy allows a single, modest heat source to perform the work that would normally require a powerful furnace, conserving an immense amount of fuel. This practice is a masterclass in thermodynamics, achieved with simple household items. It acknowledges the reality that keeping an entire structure warm is inefficient and often impossible during a prolonged cold snap or power outage. By shrinking their living space, they concentrate their resources where they are most needed. It's a dynamic and flexible approach to shelter. On a milder winter day, the quilts can be taken down to let in sunlight and air out the space. When an Arctic blast arrives, the fort is re-established in a matter of minutes. This interior migration is a physical manifestation of a core Amish principle: adapt to the conditions rather than trying to overpower them with brute force technology. While a modern homeowner might panic as their thermostat becomes useless, an Amish family simply pulls their walls in closer, creating a cozy, warm sanctuary against the storm. It's a testament to the idea that the most effective shelter isn't always about permanent walls, but about the intelligent use of the space within them. Bonus point 9, the weather reading window pane. In an age of Doppler radar apps and minute-by-minute satellite forecasts, we have outsourced our environmental awareness to screens. We check our phones to know if we need a coat, trusting an algorithm to tell us about the world just outside our door. The Amish, however, cultivate a deep sensory connection to the weather, and one of their most important tools is a simple pane of glass. They don't just look through their windows, they read them. The patterns of frost, the behavior of condensation, and the sound of wind against the glass provide a rich, detailed forecast that is often more reliable for their immediate location than a regional weather report. This isn't folklore, it's a learned science of observation. For instance, the type of frost that forms on a window pane overnight is a key indicator. A fine, crystalline, fern-like frost often signals the arrival of a stable mass of very cold, dry air. This means the cold is likely to persist, but the skies will be clear. Conversely, a thick, opaque, and milky layer of rime ice indicates high humidity in the air, suggesting that a storm system bringing snow or freezing rain is imminent. They also observe condensation. By placing a single-pane sacrificial window in a barn or unheated entryway, they can watch how moisture behaves. If condensation forms on the inside of the pane, it means the indoor air is moist and the outdoor air is cold and dry. If it forms on the outside, it signifies high outdoor humidity, a classic precursor to precipitation. This observational skill extends beyond the glass itself. They listen to the way the wind sounds as it hits the window. A low moan suggests a steady directional wind, while a high-pitched whistle or rattling panes indicates turbulent, gusty conditions that can precede a fast-moving storm front. They learn these nuances from childhood, building a mental library of atmospheric cause and effect. This constant direct engagement with their environment gives them a crucial advantage in preparedness. They don't need a notification to tell them a storm is coming. They can feel it in the air, see it on the glass, and hear it in the wind. This allows them to take proactive measures, bringing in more firewood, checking on livestock, or stacking more hay bales, long before a modern homeowner might receive a weather alert. While we have become dependent on a technological buffer between us and the natural world, the Amish maintain an unbroken dialogue with it, turning a simple window into a sophisticated and life-saving forecasting tool. Bonus point 10, the hot brick bed warmer. Before electric blankets and heated mattress pads, the challenge of getting into a frigid bed on a winter night was solved with a simple, brilliant application of thermal mass, the hot brick. This ancient technique is still a staple in many Amish households, providing hours of safe, silent, and off-grid warmth. The process is remarkably straightforward. Several common household bricks are placed on or near the wood stove during the day or evening. Bricks, being dense and ceramic, are exceptional at absorbing and retaining heat. After soaking up warmth for a few hours, they become portable, long-lasting radiators. Just before bedtime, these hot bricks are carefully wrapped in thick towels or flannel cloths to prevent direct contact with skin or bedding, and are then placed under the covers at the foot of the bed. The heat released by a single brick is gentle but incredibly persistent. It doesn't provide the immediate, intense heat of an electric blanket, but it radiates a deep, penetrating warmth that can last for 6 to 8 hours, easily through the entire night. The wrapped brick pre-warms the bedding, eliminating the shocking cold that can make it difficult to fall asleep. More importantly, it creates a pocket of consistent warmth around the feet and lower body, which helps improve circulation and allows the entire body to stay warmer. For families with multiple members, a small collection of bricks can be heated simultaneously, providing a personal bed warmer for everyone in the house. This method is not only effective but also inherently safe. There are no wires to fray, no risk of electrical fire, and no complex electronics to fail. The use of a hot brick is another example of the Amish mastery of storing and time-releasing energy. It captures the waste heat from the daily fire and repurposes it for nighttime comfort. While a modern electric blanket is an active consumer of energy, drawing power throughout the night, the hot brick is a passive device that simply gives back the energy it has already stored. This practice highlights a core difference in mindset. Modern convenience seeks to generate heat on demand, often inefficiently. The Amish approach is to capture heat when it is abundant, and save it for when it is needed most. In a world of rising energy costs and grid instability, the humble brick offers a powerful lesson. It proves that comfort and security don't require a constant supply of electricity, just a little bit of foresight and a healthy respect for the enduring power of a simple heated stone. Bonus point 11. The draft snake and microclimate control. While modern homes are sealed with weather stripping and spray foam to create an airtight envelope, older homes, like those common in Amish communities, often have countless small leaks. Air seeps in around window frames, under doors, and through floorboards. Instead of seeing this as a catastrophic failure, the Amish treat it with a simple, targeted solution: the draft snake. This isn't a new invention, it's a centuries-old tool, a fabric tube stuffed with a dense insulating material like sand, dried beans, rice, or even sawdust. Placed snugly at the base of a door or on a drafty windowsill, it creates a physical barrier that stops the infiltration of cold air at its source. It's a prime example of microclimate control, solving a small problem locally before it affects the larger living space. This humble device is far more sophisticated than it appears. It embodies a principle of targeted intervention rather than overwhelming force. A modern homeowner might respond to a draft by cranking up the thermostat, forcing the furnace to work harder and burn more fuel to compensate for the heat loss. This is an inefficient brute force solution. The draft snake, however, addresses the root cause directly. By blocking the flow of cold air, it prevents the home's warm air from being displaced, preserving the existing thermal balance. It's an act of surgical precision, not a declaration of war on the cold. A household might have half a dozen of these draft snakes, each one custom-made for a specific window or door, ready to be deployed as soon as a cold wind starts to blow. The materials used are just as clever. Sand and dried beans provide not just a physical block, but also thermal mass. During the day, a draft snake placed on a sunny windowsill will absorb heat. At night, it continues to radiate that stored warmth back into the room while simultaneously blocking the cold, serving a dual purpose. This approach is profoundly resilient. It requires no electricity, has no moving parts to break, and can be made from leftover fabric scraps and common pantry items. It is a technology of profound simplicity and effectiveness. While a smart home might use sensors to detect a temperature drop and automatically adjust the heating, the Amish use their own senses to find a draft and deploy a solution that costs virtually nothing. It's a reminder that true efficiency isn't always about complex systems, but about understanding a problem well enough to solve it with the simplest means possible. Bonus point 12, the hot water bottle and direct-to-body warming. In the modern world, we heat our spaces. The Amish, with their characteristic practicality, often focus on heating people directly. One of the most effective and time-honored tools for this is the simple hot water bottle. Made of durable rubber, this unassuming vessel becomes a personal, portable heat source that can provide comfort and warmth for hours. The process is as simple as it is effective. Water is heated on the wood stove, not to a boil, but to a temperature that is hot to the touch, and carefully poured into the bottle. The secure stopper prevents leaks, and the bottle, often slipped into a soft flannel or wool cover, is ready for use. It's a low-tech, high-impact method for delivering warmth exactly where it is needed most. The applications are versatile. A hot water bottle can be tucked under a quilt a few minutes before bed, transforming a cold, uninviting mattress into a warm and cozy haven. It can be held on the lap while reading or knitting, providing a constant source of warmth to the body's core. Placed behind the lower back, it soothes muscles and radiates heat through the torso. This direct-to-body approach is vastly more energy efficient than space heating. Instead of burning fuel to raise the temperature of thousands of cubic feet of air in a room, you are using a small amount of heated water to warm a single person. It is the pinnacle of targeted heating, concentrating the thermal energy for maximum personal benefit. This method also offers significant health and safety advantages over modern electric alternatives. Unlike electric heating pads, there are no electromagnetic fields, no risk of electrical shorts, and no reliance on a functioning power grid. During a winter blackout, when electric blankets are useless, the hot water bottle remains a reliable source of comfort. The warmth it provides is a gentle, moist heat, which many find more soothing than the dry heat produced by electric elements. For aches, pains, and chills, it is a simple and effective remedy. The Amish have long understood that keeping the human body warm is the primary goal, and the hot water bottle achieves this with unparalleled simplicity. It is a quiet testament to the idea that the most effective technologies are often those that work in direct partnership with the body, providing comfort without complexity or dependence on fragile external systems.